All right, so we talked about 45, 45, 90 triangles in the previous video, and I can't stress enough again, these are so important. We're going to use them over and over and over and over again, so we need to know these, all right? So the next thing we're going to talk about is what we'll call a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And here's how we get there. So if we let the big triangle be an equilateral triangle with a side length of 2, then that AD being perpendicular, that's going to split it into two congruent triangles. So a couple of things happen. So one of the things that happens is angle A gets split in half, and so the 60 becomes 30 and 30. And so then I have a 30, 60, 90 triangle on the left and a 30, 60, 90 triangle on the right. And since it's cutting it in half, the AD is chopping the side in half because I have two congruent triangles, then that means chopping the 2 in half gives me 1 and 1. So that means the length of BD is 1 and the length of DC is 1. All right, so we're just going to use 1/2 of the triangle because we're really only considering the 30, 60, 90. So far we agree we started out with the length of 2. We started out with a length of 1, and now I want to find h. Now, I just want to be clear. H isn't standing for hypotenuse in this case. H is standing for the height of the triangle. So I don't want you to get confused with that, okay? So I have a right triangle. I know 2 sides. I'm looking for the 3rd side. So we want to use the Pythagorean theorem. So I would say the length of a leg squared plus the length of a leg squared is equal to the length of the hypotenuse squared. So that means that 1 plus the height squared is equal to 4. If I subtract 1 from both sides, the height squared is equal to 3. And so that makes the height equal to the square root of 3. That went fast. Okay. So that means opposite the 30, I have a 1. I'm using my finger. I should use my mouse. Opposite 30 is the 1. Opposite the 60 is the root 3. And opposite the 90 is the 2. So this is the basic triangle for every 30, 60, 90 triangle out there in the world. And so what I want to use is a scale factor of t, so that if I multiply everything through by t, then that talks about every possible triangle instead of this one particular one. So notice opposite the 30 was the 1, now it's 1 times t. Opposite the 60 was the root 3, and now it's t root 3. And opposite the 90 was the 2, and now it's 2 times t. So if t is greater than 1, I've blown up the triangle. If it's less than 1, I've shrunk down the triangle. But this will be the common ratio no matter what 30, 60, 90 triangle we're talking about. So now that we know this, we can set up a table in order to solve it. So like we said, 30 is opposite to t. So that's going to be one column. 60 is opposite to t root 3. So that's my second column. And 90 is opposite to 2t, so that is my third column. So just something to note here, let me use the back side of this paper. I'm going to show you a little impromptu lesson. So we have 30 and we have 60 and we have 90. And do you see that that's going from smallest to largest? So that means that the length of the sides, we learned this in geometry, the smallest side is opposite the smallest angle, the medium side is opposite the medium angle, and the largest side is opposite the largest angle. So we have 1t and we have a root 3t and we have 2t to think about. So let's just think about the 1, the root 3, and the 2. So would you agree if I square 1 that I get the square root of 1 is equal to 1? I've got the square root of 3, and if I square the 2, then that means the square root of 4 is equal to 2. So this is really saying the square root of 1 times t, the square root of 3 times t, and the square root of 4 times t. So notice these go in order from smallest to largest as well. So that's how we know that the 1t goes with the 30, the root 3 or t root 3 goes with the 60, and then the 2t goes with the 90. Smallest to largest for the top and for the bottom. Okay? So if we take a look at this triangle here, we want to figure out how would we fill in this table, right? So if we're looking at 30, opposite the 30 is the 5, opposite the 60 is the y, and opposite the 90 is the x. Now, if you were looking in the book, they're going to use scale factors of x for both the 45, 45, 90, and the 30, 60, 90. The problem I have with that is then you can't really decipher which one goes with which. So what I hope you can see is with the 45, 45, 90, I used F for the simple reason that 45 starts with the letter F. 30, 60, 90, I use T because the word 30 starts with the letter T. So then that helps you know which lettering goes with which triangle. Okay, so now I can say T is equal to 5 and I know my scale factor. So that means that when I do T root 3, Y is going to be equal to T root 3. And so that means Y is 5 root 3. And then X is going to be 2 times T. So that means X is going to be 2 times 5. And 2 times 5 makes 10. So those are the two values that I was looking for. So notice this side is 5 times 1. This side is 5 times root 3, and this side is 5 times 2, because my originals were 1, root 3, and 2, and I'm 5 times bigger than the original triangle. All right, so the next thing that I need you to do is figure out if you have what I call a forward-thinking calculator or a backward-thinking calculator. So I know this sounds really strange, but have a calculator out right now, and on your calculator, pause the video and find the square root of 81. We all know that it's 9, but I want you to make your calculator tell you that the square root of 81 is 9. So there's two ways that that could have happened with your calculator. One way is you could have plugged in the square root button and then the 81 and then pressed equals, and you would have gotten 9, and that's a forward thinking calculator. Some of you had to put the 81 in first and then tell your calculator you wanted the square root, and then either it showed up or you pressed equals, and then that's a backward thinking calculator. So you need to know that because the same thing is going to happen with the sines and the cosines, okay? So when I plug sine of 65 into my calculator, the first thing we need to do is figure out, and I'll just put it up to my screen, we need to see this little DEG right there, or you might see a D with a box, okay? So we want to make sure that our calculator is in degrees. So I have a DRG button right here, and when I press it, it asks me which one I want. So right now it's under degrees, so I'm going to say yes, I want degrees, because that's what we're going to deal with in this chapter. So in my case, I have a forward-thinking calculator, so I'm going to press my sine button right here. Then I'm going to press the number 65, and then I'm going to press equals. And so it's going to give me the answer rounded to the nearest thousandths of 0.906 because 3 was not greater than 5. Now, we talked about degrees, minutes, and seconds in the previous section. So there are parts of the book that are going to ask you to do the cosine of something in minutes and seconds. So remember that the 19 is whole, and then it's 14 minutes out of a total of 60 to turn us into degrees. And oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Going back to that sine of 65, if you have a backwards thinking calculator, you're going to type the 65 in first and then press the sine, and it should give you the answer that you're looking for. So with B, if you have a forward thinking calculator, you're going to press cosine. Make sure you put in the parentheses, and then 19 plus 14 over 60. Now, it doesn't matter if you use divided by or if you use the fraction button, and then close the parentheses. If it's a backwards thinking calculator, you'll just do the parentheses part first, and then the last thing you'll do is press cosine, and either way you should get 0.944. If we want to figure out secant, I don't have a secant button in my calculator, but I have a cosine button in my calculator, and I know that secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So that's the same as saying either 1 over cosine or 1 divided by cosine of 82. So in my calculator, if I press 1 divided by, and then however your calculator does the cosine of 82. If it's forwards, you would say cosine 82. If it's backwards, you would say 82 and then cosine, and then equals, and we get 7.185. Okay? If you're having issues with your calculator, please email me and let me know so we can set up a little tutoring session and make sure that your calculator becomes your best friend. Okay, so that is it for this lesson. Hopefully that went well and you can get started on your homework.